I would have baked a cake. Suddenly we have the deep. But I digress. Like, share, subscribe, or don't. I'm not leaving. It ain't over. And do not give up. Give up. Give up. Give up.
Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's Richie from Boston. Today's the 5th of April. It's 2018. And for all those people that won the silver coins last month, that was all made possible by Colin from Noble Gold. And he is joining me once again. And Colin seems to be highly disconcerted about the post office, nonetheless, something we all have to deal with, and how Trump and Amazon and the post office are all tied together. What's up? What do you think of this?
Yeah, Richie, this is, I mean, everybody knows the post office is broke. And unfortunately, you know, Trump, I think he's 100% right on this. I think that, you know, I wish he actually kind of doubled down on it. I think he pulled back a little bit because the stock market had a little bit of a correction after he started talking about it. But in essence, the way it's set up now is that overall mail delivery is down. You know, you look at packages, you look at daily mail, things are down. However, Amazon has found a loophole where they can get their packages delivered every day for below cost. And so, you know, it's great for Amazon, but it's not great for us, the taxpayer, because if you look at the numbers, basically the last 6 years, the post office they've lost money every quarter, billions of dollars, and they basically outfitted themselves for Amazon. They're basically just, in a lot of ways, just working for Amazon. Every package, Amazon pays about $2, and all reports come out say that those packages actually cost the post office to get it delivered. They call it kind of the last mile, because basically it's all prepackaged. It gets to the post office just gets it out to everybody, and they're delivering every day. And so long story short, that package costs the post office $3.50 to get it to you and to me and to everybody. So we're losing $1.50 a package, and I think we should get rid of that situation. I think that we shouldn't be losing money to help this corporation out. They should pay if nothing else, we should be at what it costs. You know, if we're creating,
that's how life works, right?
Right. Yeah, they shouldn't get this. I mean, that's a substantial discount. So I'm frustrated by it. I mean, I think there's a number of solutions. First of all, I don't think everybody needs mail every day. I mean, let's be honest. A lot of people pay bills online now. A lot of times the mail out of a 6 or 7 day week, a lot of the mail is junk anyway that people don't want. And I could go on and on about that, because I actually am one of the few people that will call and say, hey, stop. I don't need this anymore. Like the Yellow Pages, they will never not deliver that book. And it's like, I don't need this huge book anymore. I mean, I don't know how you feel. I don't know how you feel about it, Richie.
What about everything is online. They've gone out of their way to put everything online, and yet you still get literal pounds and pounds of catalogs, nonsense, and things you didn't ask for.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So I hear you. I definitely hear you.
And why do we need deliveries on every day of the week? I don't understand that. I understand that don't get me wrong, you know, my wife and I, we order, and we have a young son, he's a toddler, and it's nice to get his toy on a Saturday, but do I need it on a Saturday? Right. No, I don't need it on a Saturday. So it's frustrating, and what it comes down to is just another example of debt. You know, the report that we have out there, written by our economists, you know, unfunded liabilities, which is money that we don't have in this country right now, and this is based on the U.S. numbers, is over $100 trillion. The money we owe right now is over $20 trillion. That's money we owe right now, but unfunded future liabilities is above $100 trillion. And so, in essence, unfunded liabilities would be like your mortgage. You know, that's an unfunded liability you have to pay in the future. So the country, our whole debt is over $100 trillion, and this is just another example of government inefficiency. And I think there's a lot of ways we could streamline it, and I think it needs to happen Obviously, the post office is a great service, especially for people that live in rural areas. I don't think it should go away, but I don't think someone needs it every day. I don't think there's anything anyone needs any day anymore. We're not even sending, who sends a letter anymore?
Right.
It's frustrating. And so, when you look at the economy, you look at this situation with the post office, you look at the stock market at nearly an all-time high, you look at the money supply just increasing, you look at the cost of everything, and you realize there's a real problem out there. And so, what we tell people, especially right now during tax time, is take a look at your portfolio, look at what's happening. There's been tons of volatility in the Dow, dropping 10% in a day. How much money do you have exposed there? And look at gold and silver. Gold and silver are undervalued assets. And so when you have an asset that is well below cost, which gold and silver are, they're below mining costs, they're below where they should be. Take a look at those. Take a look at some other assets that are undervalued, and just you should be careful, because all these things that are happening, that, the debt with the post office, it's not a big deal. The debt with Medicare and all the debt, it doesn't matter. Eventually it's going to matter, because.
Well, of course it is, man. Of course. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, bud.
Yeah, no. No, you and I, Richie, we can't run our household this way.
No,
we can't.
That's what gets me. That's what you couldn't get away with that for a year without having badges and guns at your door. That's just how it works.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. If you didn't pay your debts, you didn't pay, the credit. In essence, the U.S. is living on credit cards. There's no other way to look at it. And we haven't had China call the credit cards in, but it could happen. And it's similar to what you and I have. If you and I have a mortgage, and the bank and that mortgage company basically eventually said, you know what, you owe us $300,000 more. We want that money now. You can't afford it. No. The government can't afford it. So what's going to happen? A lot of people think there's going to be a reset of the dollar. China is pegging and buying a lot of gold. They're pegging. A lot of people believe they're going to eventually peg their yuan to gold, so it's a more stable currency. And I think we're going to see some changes in how money works. That's why really the reason all these cryptocurrencies have come about, not to go on a tangent about this, but the only reason they're around is because people are fed up with paper money. They're fed up with manipulation. They're fed up with the fact that you can just print money out of thin air. That's why these were created. Otherwise, why would we create another currency?
Right.
So that's why this happened. So when this correction is going to happen with our currency, I don't know. But we talk about this on our ebook. Zimbabwe, which is a smaller country, they went through hyperinflation. They literally, in our ebook, we talk about it, and it's a joke. And this just happened, 2000, exactly. There it is, right there, a $10 billion note.
$10 billion note. How amazing is that?
Yeah, and that was their currency. And this wasn't 100 years ago. This wasn't Germany after World War I. This was in 2006, 2007. So, they were in a situation where the government just kept printing money, and they even have, and I was going to send it, but I couldn't find it. They have a $10 trillion note too, which I couldn't find. But think about that. Think how ridiculous that is, that these paper notes are worth nothing. And really, if you equate it here, think about the dollar. Go back 20 years ago. You could actually buy things for $1.
Absolutely.
Now, $1 it's silly money. No, you can't buy anything for $1. You can't even. You go back 30 years ago, you could buy a Happy Meal for about $2, $2.25 at McDonald's, and that same Happy Meal today is what, $6, $7, $8? I don't even know what it is. But
to me, a $20 bill is like. It's funny too because it's 20 years, but to me a $20 bill is the same as $1 was 20 years ago.
Yeah,
you break a 20, you get pretty much nothing for it, and then it's gone. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's and now you have companies. I was just reading about this restaurant locally, and they're not even taking cash anymore. They're just taking credit cards. They just basically got rid of cash altogether, and we see people, and I think. The good thing about money, about cash or gold and silver, is like you understand the value of it when you have it. When you're just swiping a card, it loses its value. Almost like being in Vegas or Atlantic City, you don't see the total value of it. And so I think that's the world we're living in now, is people are just swiping and swiping and swiping, and they don't understand the value. And that's why I think going back to a system where money and the currency we use, it will hold its value. And that's why gold and silver are really the only real currency, because there's a limited supply. They can't be, manipulated the way that the dollar can. And so yeah, I mean, we're busy right now. I mean, people are they're calling, they're saying, hey, I've been thinking about my IRA, I've been thinking about my 401k. Is it a good time? We're getting them information, and I think people are starting to see that this correction is going to happen sooner than later.
I pulled up I put it out there real quick. I pulled up 6 stories talking about the imminent dollar collapse, and it's all over the place. It was mostly in March. Is that still the drum that they're beating right now?
Yeah. Oh yeah. People are really concerned about the dollar. I think, like you said, that the $20, 20 years ago when we were kids, if your parents gave you $20, that would last you for
absolutely
two weeks. A while. It would last you a while.
Yep.
If you give a kid $20 today, I mean, he's that's lunch and maybe an ice cream. I mean, that's it. That money's gone. So I think people forget about it because inflation is it's so minute and it's daily that they don't remember what things cost even 5 or 10 years. It's easy to forget.
No, you just hit it on the head. They just don't remember. It's everything's too sped up. No one's paying attention. Like, for instance, 20 years ago, if the national debt went up $1 trillion in 30 days, because that's what I have the national debt clock. Last time we spoke, which was a month ago, it was at 20 trillion and climbing. It's at 21 plus and climbing exponentially. And I don't hear people in my daily life even mention it. It's not even a topic. No one seems to care. We remember balancing the budget. That's gone. Yeah. No one even mentions it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. No, it's yeah. I mean, when Reagan was in office, I think the debt, we were talking about billions, and now it's trillions. So I think it's one of those things where I think that you have to be mindful of yourself and your finances and take control of it. And don't fall into the malaise of just saying everything's going to be okay. Don't put your head in the sand and just forget about it. You really have to be conscious of it. Make sure you save. Make sure you pay off debts. Interest rates are going up too. They raised interest rates twice this year. They're going to raise it 2 more times. So the cost of money is going to get more expensive. They're going to print more, and I think that's something that everybody's got to be prepared for.
Well, I've got a stack of email. Well, it's not. It's a virtual stack. We'll call it that. I've got a stack of emails of people since we spoke last time again that have had nothing but glowing things to say about dealing with you guys. And I'm not talking, uber wealthy people. These people had small 401ks, and apparently you guys helped them turn it into something that's, they can actually hold. They don't have to worry about having the president walk on television on a Friday afternoon saying, "Hey, everybody, bank holiday," and that money that you've been saving your entire life, that's probably gone.
Yep. They never have to worry about that. That's the beauty behind what we do, is when you get into a tangible investment like what we do in the IRA, we handle all the paperwork. We make sure the metals are stored safely, they're secured, or if somebody gets delivery of the metals, we make sure it's delivered to them in a quick manner. Everything is nondescript. It's all private. So, it's really gold and silver are one of the last private assets out there, which a lot of people really like because everything else is tracked. So we really make it a comfortable process, and we've had a lot of people call from the show and the interviews, and so anybody has any questions, all the information's free. Our time is free to answer questions. So if nothing else, just call us. Our phone lines are open 24 hours. If there's someone available, they'll talk to you. If not, someone will call you back during business hours. And they can reach us at 877-646-5347.
Yep, I got it up right now.
Feel free to call anytime, and we're happy to help. And I hope this, to kind of sum up this post office situation, I really think, and I hope Trump's the one to do it. I hope we can get this resolved. I think there's a few small changes we can make, cut down the days of delivery, increase the cost for a business that can afford it. Obviously, like, Bezos he's not hurting for money. Let's make the cost more reasonable for what it is. Let's keep, obviously the post office. I love the fact that there's jobs and it's continuing to move in that direction. But let's just make it so that we're not in the negative, so to speak.
It just seems like it seems like everything's going down that route.
Right.
And I hate to be a doomsayer, but it is what it is. The post office has been hitting this. They've been talking about this same exact thing for years.
Oh, yeah.
Years, and they're still here, and now they're tied up with Amazon. And everybody loves Amazon. You've got to love. You need something.
You get
it. They can usually deliver the same day, which is creepy because they must be parked around the corner. But the fact that convenience ends up going right back to the taxpayer all over again, that sucks.
Yeah,
do you know what I'm saying? So I understand why you're pissed off.
Yeah, I know. I'm frustrated. And to be honest, it's nice to get it that day, but I don't need everything that day. It's nice, but if I can get it the next day or in a few days and the post office is losing money, I think most people would understand that. Even though we want that immediate gratification, we never had it before. People would order stuff and it would come in a few days and everybody's fine. And I think people can wait a day or two for items if it's gonna increase it, or Amazon just increase what they pay and let's just level the playing field and make it.
That seems like the obvious answer, but
absolutely.
They gotta mire it down in politics real quick. Speaking of waiting for days, when I was a kid, we used to order stuff and it would take weeks. You wouldn't even remember you ordered it, man.
Yeah.
Those X-ray goggles, they never even worked.
And it was exciting when it came because then you're like, oh, I forgot I ordered this thing, and now it shows up.
Absolutely.
And everything would take much longer. No, I'm with you. I remember ordering stuff as a kid too. You'd order it, forget about it, and then it would show up. So I think this immediate gratification. I think if we can just take a step back and say, let's make sure that the government isn't losing money. Which in essence, it's not the government; it's us. You and I paying taxes.
Right.
That's. Anytime we're paying in, they have different pools of money, and one of the pools is going to the post office. So let's just try to make that more equitable and make sure that you and I don't have to continue to pay more, because obviously the more hole they're in, the higher taxes have to be, and it's just coming out of you and our pocket, and that's frustrating. That's very frustrating. So
let me ask you, I'm looking at an email someone had sent. People can buy singular coins from you if they have to. If that's all they have, they don't have to purchase an enormous amount. There's no set amount. It's whatever you can afford and you're good to go, correct?
Yeah. So our minimum, we're in the state of California, our minimum is $1,500 a purchase. Okay. So we have to be above that right now. We are working to set our business up in another state. It's just this state where we're set up, they have that minimum.
Right.
And the reason they have that you can do a transaction lower than that, but they charge you a 9% tax.
Of course they do. Same. I think, California and Massachusetts are just killing everybody with taxes, man.
Absolutely. So we don't want anyone to pay that amount. So that's why we have that set up. However, we are working to set up a business in another location where we can do smaller. So right now that is $1,500 is the minimum on any kind of cash transaction. But we do cover the shipping. And also we are running a promotion right now for the month of April for IRAs. If they're doing any kind of precious metals IRA, we are covering the first year. It's about a $450 savings on the fees. So if anybody calls in, they mention you, Richie, we're going to get them in a little bit easier. We're going to cover that first year fee so they don't have to pay that. And it makes it a little bit easier on the first year to get in. And maybe that'll help people kind of get over the hump that they don't have to cover that fee.
That's awesome. A lot of the subscribers I have are already on this. They get it. But a lot of people they're nervous. Everybody's nervous about sending money.
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah.
I've heard nothing but good stuff so far. And I've dealt with you personally. You're without a doubt a stand-up guy, and I love people that are easy to talk to. So that works out really well.
Thank you, Richie. No, we love being on here, and it's great. It's great to get out and talk to people and just kind of bring things to light that maybe they're not always aware of. And we always try to help people. And I'm involved in Charles and I. You've talked to Charles. We're involved in every aspect of the business. We're here every day. It's not like one of those things where the owners aren't here, we're not involved. We're involved in every aspect, shipping the metals, the depositories. There's not one thing we're not involved in. So everyone can rest assured that the two owners of the company are going to make sure that it's handled in the proper way.
Whoever's in charge of shipping, you guys do not screw around, because that box was serious. I couldn't.
Oh yeah.
I forgot you said you were going to send it, and when I got it, I'm like,
what is
must
this?
be plutonium in here. This box is like impregnable. And then I remembered afterwards. So
yeah, we packaged the box up so tight for a number. First of all, we want it to be discreet, and then just to make sure that the product is, when it gets to you, that it's in perfect condition. So you got to really seal it up, because the way things get shipped, they can jostle things around, and we just want to make sure that you get the coin, it looks exactly like what you saw on the website. And so
no, whatever focus group you had on that one, you guys nailed it, because that's I build vehicles as a past, like a hobby or whatever, and I order a lot of stuff, so I get a lot of different packages from every different place, including the post office. And when that came, I stopped. I'm like, I can't remember what I even ordered. This must be some sort of a dangerous material. And I was, oh wait a minute, it's silver. All right, I got you.
Yeah, good. I'm glad they packaged it the right way. That's every package should go out like that. It's nondescript, so nobody has to worry about their neighbors or anyone knowing what's going on. It's all private. So no, I'm glad to hear that.
Let me ask you real quick while I have you. What is your, do you have any insight on, like I said, all these articles? I'm pulling them up from RT. I'm getting them off of the Balance, talking about the dollar collapse in 2018. Is that just more of the same? Because we've heard it a zillion times.
Yeah, I mean, I think collapse, when you think about the word collapse of the dollar, what is a collapse? Is, in the early 80s, you had inflation at, 17, 18%. Is that a collapse? In my eyes, yeah. If the true numbers of inflation came out, I mean, right now the real numbers of inflation are between 9 and 10% a month. It's not the 2%. If people really knew that, I think they would feel like there's a collapse of the dollar. But the government has been able to manipulate the numbers and tell people 2% because they basically move the goalposts. They just continue to change. They take out energy and a lot of costs that have gone up a lot because they want to keep that number down so they don't have to balance the budget. Because if people knew inflation was 10%, there would be an uproar, and people would say, "Hey, we have to balance the budget." So I think we're already seeing the collapse of the dollar. As we mentioned, things have the price of goods have gone up tremendously. Will the dollar be replaced in the U.S.? I don't know, but I think that could other countries get fed up and just not accept the dollar as the world's reserve currency? That's absolutely could happen.
Right.
Because those countries are fed up with having to trade in the dollar because it's a currency that loses so much value every day. So that I definitely can see happening. Will the dollar reset, or will we see another currency? That's hard to say. But I think if people really look at the math and they look at inflation's 9% every month, in a way, that's a partial collapse right now.
Right. No, you're absolutely right. It's very similar. It brings to mind the unemployment rate and how they do that. They keep, they massage everything like that. So
yeah, they take people off. Yeah, exactly. So once you've been on unemployment for 18 months, they take you off, so you're not in the formula. Then they don't factor in underemployment. So someone that's had a 40-hour-a-week work job that now works 25 hours, that's not factored in because basically they got a job. So, and obviously if someone needs to work 40 hours, they need to work 40 hours. 25 hours is not going to pay their bills. So those two categories just take it off. So that's why you see you see the unemployment rate in the 4% number. But really, if you take in underemployment, you take in everybody that just gave up, unemployment rates are 12, 13% right now.
It's big.
Absolutely.
Right. I mean, is there anything else you want to cover here real quick, or?
No, I think we went over a lot of topics. We're always available if people have questions. We're here. I think, gold and silver, as mentioned, it's a great time. Prices are very low. We've had a nice little pullback over the last few weeks. So if anybody has any questions that we can answer, we're available, and looking forward to chatting with you again, Richie.
Cool, man. Anytime. The number is 877-646-5347. All right, Richie from Boston, Colin from Noble, and we are out. Links will be in the description.